New York, New York. Hey, the fiends trying to bust my head. Tell them bring some money when they come. New York, whoa. The DT try to watch me, so I won't let them catch me, so I run. New York, hey, yo, the fiends try to bust my head. Tell them bring some money when they come. New York, whoa. The DT try to watch me, so I won't let them catch me, so I run. New York, New York. Welcome to New York City, where life sometimes may seem so fine. Welcome to New York City, where you see the sunset, some see the sunrise. Welcome to New York City, can't you see the signs? NYPD commit the crime while we serve the time. In New York, in New York, welcome to the Rotten Apple, so-called Adam's Apple, NYC, where police is quick to snap at you and pop at you. The 5 borough of death when cars catch flat tires off of mega potholes and rain puddles. Life's a hustle, build muscles to gain strength. From Brooklyn to Bronx, workers handing out tastes. The big city of dreams where less fortune is gained, less money attract greed, so they get caught in the matrix. No oracle in sight, all I see is abandoned train tracks. Vampires, politicians, folks with rainbow flag. Fire burn that, we fire burn that, we fire burn that. Hey yo, out here in New York. Welcome to New York City, where life sometimes may seem so fine. Welcome to New York City, where you see the sunset.
repeat it for how we rock. Yeah. Bar sharper than the bayonet. She vibing with the kings. Royal rhymes that'll make her wet. Yeah, they keep asking, are we major yet? Tell them they can make a bet that we are a major threat. Yeah, make your bet, you gotta lie in it. Take a step into this hell, you might get fried in it. Yeah, I see the devil in those virgin eyes. Verses that I spit, keep the sun and the earth aligned. Money that I make, keep my sun and my earth alive. When I'm spitting lines on the grind, out here getting mine. Yeah, the impaler of dime. Check the gear, you couldn't find a rarer design. Life is like a shrine, so never mind the time. Just renew and rewind, cause God lurks in the mind. The sigils that I sign are like signs to the blind. The riddles are like symbols, just visualize the shine. Yeah, yo, we roast God's crispy heat. Lyrically got smoked by the most high frequency. How you wanna play? Nintendo or Super Famicom? Better yet, let's see you etch a sketch a tetragrammaton. Put it on the scale, let me see how many grams you're on. Runners run a race, they forgot that it's a marathon. Olympics on the block, backflips and triathlons. They shot put shots for 2 days, decathlon. Hotel. Hotel.
Yo, indeed, between the both of us, they say we smoke too much. Still hear us on the grind like we need our rotors cut. No, the game didn't spoil me yet. Not till I get a bunch of 8-figure royalty checks. How we become more thankful the more that we get. Cause I've been up and down for so long, it's hard to forget where I came from. This is dedicated to my day ones. Taste something dumping, cooking up without an apron. Yo, who them guys coming out of South Suicide? On the grind, get the loot and slide with no suit and ties. Fuck what you heard, these haters spread rumors, lies. When I never really knew you guys, don't get brutalized. You can fool some, but you can't fool the wise. I do advise, check yourself before you scrutinize. That's why I be cool, stay fresh. If they don't know your name yet, do more, say less. Wanna be the boss, then you gotta pay the cost. Afraid to take a risk, cause you don't wanna take a loss. I understand that a major loss could really change the course. If you take a fall, get up and just shake it off. Continue to proceed and get the proceeds. I sow seeds everywhere I go, like I'm trying to grow trees. In case you didn't get the memo yet, it's still Demoree Warren, but you can call me Dem Hotep.
Hotel. Hotel.
She's not just a voice in the culture, she's family to many people we're talking about tonight. She knew Niko as well as brother Ronald Fenty, Rihanna's father, personally. She's seen both the light and the shadows in this industry. So when I say it's an honor to have Sister Patrice with us again tonight, OG, I mean that from my soul. I love you, girl. Welcome you guys again tonight, Sister Patrice. Thank you, sister, for being here, Patrice, because you could be somewhere else.
Hey, how you doing, sis? Greetings and salutations.
I'm good, baby girl. I'm here for you with the loss of your friends, Nico and Ronald. So, OG,
Yeah,
before we dive into the headlines tonight, you know them both, Nico and Ronald. So that's the double loss for you. Compassion and condolences for your losses. Can you share with us who they really were behind the news and celebrity connections?
yeah, absolutely. And I will say it was really an honor and a pleasure to get to work either with or for both of them. I actually, when Brian McKnight had performed in Vegas, and he had his two sons with him, which was Brian Jr. and Nico being the youngest one. I met them then when I worked with them in Vegas. And I will say that it was a really pleasure. Those young men were so mannerable. They were so respectful. They called me Miss Patrice the whole time, Miss Patrice, Miss Patrice. And I can say, you can just call me Patrice. And they said, no, we call you
Miss
anything.
Patrice.
My
Oh,
mama, we wasn't raised that way. I said, well, your mama raised you right. And we kicked it backstage, laughed and talked. Nico, who is a self-taught musician on the guitar, I told him he was a young Jimi Hendrix in the making. When I tell you he was really, really good. And I asked him what else he did outside of the music, and he said he loved photography. He loved taking pictures
oh,
for photography. So it was just an honor to talk to those young men that were truly gifted in music, following in the footsteps of both of their parents, because their mom, Julie, is a singer and songwriter, as well as, of course, their father. And, to just have a naturally gifted talent when you have a mom and dad that are both in the industry. So I want to definitely give my condolences out to the McKnight family, especially Julie, who kind of single handedly raised those boys, because at that time she put her career on hold, so that Brian can shine. And she was a stay at home mom and raised those kids. So I did IGM her. I'm giving her privacy, of course, but she did acknowledge the message, giving my condolences, and my prayers and everything to her and the family. I can't even imagine
yeah.
losing a son at such a young age when he was just coming into the greatest peak of his manhood. He had a wife as well too, so which I found out that Nico was married. So my condolences go out to his wife as well, for her loss, because it's just a loss period to the whole music community, but especially to their family. And it's just sad, that he battled colon cancer for 2 years before he fought before he, passed away. So yeah. And as far as Ron Fenty is concerned, I met him through my girlfriend, who, was his girlfriend, and they would have birthday parties, because they birthday, I think, was just like a day or two apart. So they would have these big, huge birthday parties in Vegas,
Uh-huh.
and it was so many people that would, come and perform. And I was one of those people that, got the opportunity to work with them and perform for them at their birthday parties every year. I think the only year I missed was the year that they didn't give a party, where they actually went away and went overseas for their birthday. But Ron was always nice to me, was always very kind, always had something good and funny to say. He was kind of the life of the party person, but he kind of took it all in very humbly, as did
Mhm.
Rosemary. And I want to give her my heartfelt condolences and prayers, and also give it to Rihanna, because that's her dad, right? For her loss of her
Yeah.
father. Just heartfelt condolences. It was a shock. He just passed away this morning, today,
Yeah.
and Nico passed away on the 29th, which I think was day before yesterday. So that would have been, I think, Friday, I believe. I
Yeah.
know Saturday.
No,
No,
it's Saturday. Yeah.
Thursday. Yeah. So he passed away. Whatever date, I think it was Thursday, was the 29th, but that's when Niko passed away. So, and his uncle, which is Brian McKnight's brother, Claude,
Yeah.
to his social media, made that announcement. And then Julie officially made the announcement on her IG page. So, yeah, that's just two major losses, unfortunately. Are you there, sis? You on mute?
Yeah, I'm here. So it's a lot. It's heavy. So many people saw Ronald Fenty as just Rihanna's dad, but you knew him as a friend. What would you say is being missed in the public narrative right now? Because she looked so much like her dad,
Mhm.
and at one point, I know Rihanna had felt easy about her father and the Fenty brand. And I know she did file a lawsuit, and then she recanted that lawsuit. And thank God they were at peace, and that her and her brother was there with her dad before he left us.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about it, that Rihanna and her dad was able to make peace with
Mm-hmm.
each and to settle their differences. When that whole lawsuit situation happened, they are in good they were in good standing with each other before he passed away, and it was good to see that. It really was, because unfortunately that is
Mm.
not the case with Brian McKnight and his son Niko.
Yeah.
It's opposite. So to have your child that you birth or help birth in this world, or your seed, is what helped create him,
Yeah.
and for him to, pass away, of that type of
Mm.
illness. It's sad that Brian McKnight was not, in good standing in a relationship with his son, and actually with all of his older children who are not by the wife that he has now. I don't think he has a relationship at all with
Are
any of
you
the.
serious?
No, not none of the older kids.
But
He,
why? What happened with why? I just found this out about the lawsuit with Brian McKnight with Jag, and then when I learned of the way that he treated his children, I was really shocked. This is like new information to me, and I know you did background for Brian, and you worked with his sons, and you knew them, but what what happened?
Yeah, well, that lawsuit that he filed against Jag was just a way of him trying to, I believe, tell people, in my opinion, that he's blaming Jag for the reason why his tickets wasn't selling and he had to cancel some shows. But honestly, as much as I don't like Jag, she is not to blame for that. His own actions is to blame for that, because people drug him, when he talked and said that his kids were evil and made out of sin. Now, how could you? I can't even phantom that, for him to say something like that about the children that his seed helped produce with the wife that he was married to. Like, I don't know. I don't understand it, but it's just sad. And it's his daughter, which is the one, I think her name is, I forget her name. She lives here in Arizona, and her mother was the result of the affair that Brian McKnight had while he was with Julie, as is he has an
What?
older son that was the result of an affair while he was with Julie. So
Are you
for
serious?
him,
Oh, come
no,
on, Brian. Brian, we gotta do better, Brian McKnight. I love me some Brian McKnight music, but I don't know. R. Kelly, I love his music. I hear so many wicked things about these people. And us being in the industry, you kept going. I got out. And it's like, wow, to return back to all this mess is like a lot. Because these
yeah,
people are not good people. Gosh.
yeah. Unfortunately, it's other
Their
sides to people that
character.
a lot of people don't
Yes.
know. That if you're not around them and up close and personal with them, you would never know. Now, I've never met Julie before, so we've only communicated via Instagram. I've never met her. I would love to meet her one day. I think she's
Yeah.
an awesome person, hell
Yeah.
of hell of an artist. She's a singer and songwriter in her own right,
Yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
performs a lot of overseas, but she's worked with a lot of people in the industry. She's wrote, background sang for, you know,
Yes.
kind of things. So it's just sad that Niko's really hit me hard because I felt like I was laughing and talking with my nephews backstage when we were backstage, when I was laughing and talking with him and Brian Jr. And when they were the most mannerable guys. And I don't mind, you could show the pictures that I sent you when I worked with them, and you could show the one of me with Rihanna. Said I don't mind that. But that one kind of hit me because that young man was so young, had his whole life. He kind of put me in a reminder of my son, my nephew.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And just having the conversations with him backstage, and just seeing how upstanding and how respectful, mannerable they were. You just don't find that too often in the industry with industry children, because a lot of industry children, you know, they can tend to be, you know, kind of spoiled, kind of not to say, you know what I mean, but kind of arrogant, kind of
bougie, a little you know, a little bougie and arrogant because of their dad or their mom. Is this.
They really were. So it was a pleasure, definitely, to have worked with them. Unfortunately, the experience with their dad was not as great as it was with them.
Yeah, and then I was seeing things pop up, and I was like, "What? Brian McKnight is evil." He said, "What?" So let me just show a clip right quick, because a lot of people probably don't know this side of the Brian McKnight. So I'm just gonna play a couple of minutes of this clip. It's crazy, like, oh Lord, it make you scared of people, like Lord. Oh, gosh, sister.
Brian McKnight's son, Niko McKnight, came forward to explain that he has been trying to tell the world that his father is not a great guy. Niko is 28, and his father, they have been on the outs since he was 22. Around the time the R&B singer says he cut him off. So the young Niko and his brother, Brian Jr., are the children Brian McKnight shares with ex-wife Julie McKnight, whom he was married to from 1990 to 2003. McKnight also fathered another child, Brianna McKnight, outside of his marriage with a woman named Patricia Driver, and a son named Clyde with an unknown woman. Today, the only children the singer acknowledges are Julia McPhee, Jack McPhee, and Brian Keone McKnight, the children he shares with his wife, current wife, whom he married in 2017. Julia and Jack are Lee Laney's children from a previous relationship, but McKnight has adopted them as his own. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Now, plot twist. Here's an example of how he views his estranged children.
So lastly this week, I want to big up my man right here. See, he gets it. In order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil and the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related. We want everyone to live a life that you love. Our hashtag, that's what it means. Hashtag I love our life. But in order to do that, you have to get rid of all that evil and negativity. There's so many angry and upset and negative people out there. We want to use our platform as a place of positivity. So look, here's another somebody asking about my one and only daughter, Julia, asking about how she feels about a post about her graduation. Well, how do you think she feels? She feels great. See, Julia understands the scriptures. Exodus 20:12, where it says, and I quote, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. See, she honors us, and in turn we honor her because she knows how proud of her we are. And here's something, if you're going to leave snide comments, at least allow us to tag you when we reply. It's so cowardly, but
Put up Brian McKnight's photo again. I'm no coward, sir. You are. While you're quoting scripture and calling your children evil, let me remind you that the Bible says, suffer not the little children, for they shall lead them. And a child shall lead them. That means that children provide some of the greatest lessons in our journey called life. You fail to learn them. McKnight would gain criticism online for his tasteless videos about his family. Let's put it up. Pac 1913 said, the same God that said, honor your father and mother, also said, children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him. And train up a child in the way he should go. And in his older age, he will not depart from it. Your children are a reflection of the work and prayers and spirituality and moral compass that parents pour into kids. You disown kids that you created, and you are also against God, but judgment day is between you and your maker. So carry on. Brian McKnight responded, God wasn't talking about children that are the product of sin, which these are. 2, I didn't raise them. Their mothers did. 3. What? A product of sin. Sir, the only person who would have committed a sin, which means separation from God, is you. Your children did not. Following McKnight's making those headlines for his harsh words toward his offspring, Niko took to the comment section of the Shade Room to blast his estranged father. Quote, I'm evil? Question mark. That's wild. The guy who used to make me clean his used condoms out of his bathroom at 15 before Lisa got home is calling me evil, said Niko. The guy who forged SIGs on our names is calling us evil, for sure. Niko's response weren't limited to Instagram. The second oldest McKnight child also took to X to thank his supporters for having his back throughout the entire ordeal. Quote, thank you guys for finally seeing that we weren't lying. He wrote, admitting that he wasn't always the perfect son. I will always admit I was spoiled beyond belief. But I'm doing all I can do to correct my flaws. It's one of the saddest things I've seen because it's like death from a million paper cuts, you know? I want to say this to the children who have been adversely affected by this cynical, narcissistic individual. Whatever you're carrying inside of you that he put in you was never your fault. It was never you. Clearly, we can see his flaws and his unwillingness to correct them. You see, the journey of humanity is the journey of flaws. We all are imperfect. But you have done something he has failed to do. You, Niko, you said, I am working on me. God bless you, man, because you are demonstrating how to break the cycle that this man created. Sharing thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, God bless these children, the hell with their adolescent father. Okay, I don't even know if I want to call him that. Brian McKnight is unwell. The part that is stomach turning, I won't be able to eat for the rest of the night, is that he seems to be enjoying inflicting so much heartbreak and pain. And I'll say this finally, Doc. I believe you separate art from the artist unless you are a chart-topping R&B love song hit maker. I can't listen to this. It's not about love. This man is evil. I can't listen to Brian. I love Brian McKnight's music until I learned out who I learned who Brian McKnight is.
Yeah,
This
same
is who
here.
he is. I
Same
can't.
here.
I can't do it.
So sad.
Very sad. Oh my gosh, girl, I did not know. So
Yes, I
sorry.
paid attention in that evil message that he sent. He said, Julia, my only daughter. Now that's the daughter that he adopted with his now wife. His daughter that lives here in Arizona name is Rihanna. And he said, oh, Julia, my only daughter.
Wow, that's disturbing.
So,
so horrible.
The 4 children, the 2 that he had with Julie, the 2 he had when he stepped outside his marriage in his infidelity and had 2 more children, he's claiming none of them.
What?
He adopted the new wife's 2 children from a previous relationship. He adopted them and calling them his own. And then the baby he just had with her, he literally renamed him the junior as if he's
no, sis. Are you serious?
From his firstborn.
No.
Yes. He calls that baby.
It's coming from.
Now you tell me what? Like if Niko can say, I know I'm not perfect and I am working on me. Because I'm sure they grew up spoiled and privileged, right? But I tell you, when I worked with them, all the time, I never, ever, not one time. And then I saw someone else post how they worked with Niko and Brian on a stage play somewhere. And she spoke highly of those boys. So if you saying I'm working on me and your behavior don't change, you're not working on you. It is obviously that those young boys, whatever flaws that they say they have, they're changing because people are noticing it and speaking very well of them. Brian, on the other hand, not so much. And did you hear this commentator call him what? Word? What's that N word? Narcissist. Okay? So take heed. The behavior that Brian is displaying with his children is disgusting. And for the fact that he filed a lawsuit against Jaguar Wright and saying it was because of her, my tickets are not selling because she's bad-mouthing me and saying I beat women and I cheated on my wife. And well, you did cheat on your wife. You got 2 outside kids from that. Now the other stuff about being violent towards strippers and stuff, I don't know anything about that. I don't know if it's true. I know that Jag told me that story. She told me the girl's name never left one iota out. She told the same story. So I don't know how true it is or not. But he's going Jag to blame her as to why his ticket sales is not selling and why he had to cancel concerts. No, Brian. No, Brian. What we're not going to do is play the blame shift game. Because that's all you do. That's all you're doing. Because you got drugged. You're still getting drugged right now because Niko has passed away. And you said, when we found out that Niko didn't have insurance and he had his, we offered to help with the medical bill, this, that, and the third. And then Julie went public again and said, that's a lie. So again, shame on you, Brian McKnight. Your tickets are not selling because you're showing and proving to your fans, the people that bought your music, supported you, went to your concerts, the whole 9. You're showing us
who you really are,
how you truly feel, and who you really are when it comes to your children.
That's sad. That's disgusting.
Now, I'm not saying that you should take care of your grown kids forever. I'm not saying that because he claims that he bought them a condo, paid it up for 2 years, and told them, hey, after this, you on your own or whatever, make your way. And it's my understanding that they were doing just that. They were doing music, they was doing play and all of this and that. So I don't know where that situation went wrong or whatever, but I know you never fixed it, Brian, with your children. You never fixed it. Your daughter that lives here, Brianna, she had filed a defamation lawsuit against you, Brian.
What?
Your daughter, Brian. While you filing suits against Jag, your daughter, Brianna, because she's well known here. She's really good in sports here. I want to say it's soccer.
Okay. How old is she?
She's in college now. I believe she's a college student at ASU, I believe. But yeah, she filed a defamation lawsuit against her daddy.
My thing is this. It's one thing for paparazzi to get a hold of your family business. But when you put everything on social media, why do people go to social media with their family business? Even if I wanted to, I would never expose my family business. I'll talk about me and my situations, but like if I got beef or issues with my personal family, I'm not going, especially celebrities. I'm not going to social media to air out my mom, my daddy, my son.
I don't know who actually aired out who first between the boys and him, but but what he's doing is gaslighting his fans by trying to act like the good, perfect dad, and he's not. Julia already gave that interview with Tasha K saying she put her career on hold to raise them kids so he can have his career.
She did. She sure did on Tasha K.
That, right? So then he's gaslighting, his fans and everything, right? And then calling his children evil and saying they were made out of sand when your son, Niko, the one that just passed away, literally said, you calling me evil and you had me cleaning up your dirty condoms when I was 15 years old. You didn't did you when he read the comment that Niko said back at his dad when his dad was calling him evil and made a sin. You didn't hear him read what Niko said to his dad. I said, oh, you calling me evil? The one at 15 had me cleaning your dirty condoms and throwing them away before Lisa got home. Whoever Lisa is, that Brian McKnight obviously was cheating on.
So what do you think Brian is feeling now? Do you think he's feeling the loss of his child? Do you think he's feeling remorse for the fact that all of this drama happened before the world? Okay. How do you think this man is feeling? His son is gone.
This is the thing. He may be grieving. I can't never say that, as a parent, he may be. We're going to see if he's going to take to social media or is he going to step up, because his son is going to need to be however the services is going to be. And he see is Brian McKnight going to even show up? That's the thing. Pay attention to that. Is he going to show up now that his son is no longer here? See, because you can't say, I'm sorry, son. You can't say, let's work it out, son. Now it's too late for all that. So the $64,000 question is Brian going to show up now
and put his feelings aside?
That part.
Ignorance. Yeah. So many people saw Ronald Fenty, OG, as just Rihanna's dad, but you knew Mr. Fenty. What would you say is being missed in the public narrative right now about Rihanna's father?
I would say that as from like working with him, at his birthday celebrations, I know him and my girlfriend Rosemary had an entertainment company. And the plan was to have people that they signed to the entertainment company to perform and do tours all over. There was a big plan for us, myself included, because I was asked by Rosemary herself to that if I wanted to go to Africa. It was me, this young lady that that's in Vegas that is a singer as well. Ariella Esmeralda Blue, I call her my little sis. All of us was going to Africa to perform over in Africa because Rihanna was actually the one who backed her dad's entertainment company, and a lot of people don't know that. She supported it. She actually supported it. So every time they would have a birthday party, they would have artists come and showcase their talent, and they was picking and choosing artists to be a part of their entertainment company and to perform and tour all over. That was the plan. Unfortunately, it's not going to come to fruition now because he's passed away, but he was involved in a lot of things over in Africa, him and my girlfriend. They was always out of the country, attending functions and things and things of that nature. So I know they were doing a lot of things overseas. So I think that's a part of Ron Fenty that a lot of people, didn't know about him. And he's very humble. At his parties, him and my girlfriend would make sure everybody was welcome. Everybody was, they made sure they took pictures with everybody. They made sure they came and addressed everybody personally at their tables. That's just how personal they were. And it just was so many artists that came out that loved, him and loved performing for him in Vegas. A couple of parties was at a mansion, and then they started having it at this real big event place out in Vegas. So every year, like I said, their birthdays was like a day or two apart, and they would celebrate their birthdays together. And it was just, everybody had a good time. It was a lot of artists that came from all over. Some came from California, some came from New York, Detroit. It was singers from all over because they wanted to be a part of the entertainment company that knew that Rihanna was backing that.
That's good. Rihanna seemed like the type to love her family and forgive. And thank God that she did make peace with her dad, I did with my dad. But I will personally go and sit down with my dad after almost losing him. Now, this is saying, okay, I need to make my rounds to my father, because talking to him on the phone, I like sitting with him and talking to him, and whatever he feel, closing the book, because however he feel, he gonna feel, and it's okay, because that's what he feels, not what I would do if I was the father. Because you never know when your children, you're gonna hit a certain age. We forget that with those that have children, once you hit a certain age, you're gonna want someone to be there for you, because a man may not necessarily be there, but your children, you can't. Who want to die alone? Who want to be up there in age and they alone? But I'm going to dedicate this video to Rihanna and her dad and you, OG, for losing your friend, okay?
Okay.
Give me 1 second, love. Let me see. Rest in peace, Brother Fenty and Brother Niko. Rest in paradise.
Rihanna and her family are in mourning. Multiple outlets report that on May 31st, the singer's dad, Ronald Fenty, has died at the age of 70.
Wow.
And while the cause of his death has not been made public, there have been reports stating he had recently battled an illness. Sources close to the family told Starcom Network News, which is based in their home country of Barbados, that family members gathered in California before Ronald passed away in the early hours of the morning. And news of his death comes days after Rihanna's brother, Ronald Fenty, was photographed arriving at a Los Angeles hospital, reportedly with the Grammy winner in the car, per TMZ. Rihanna was born Robin Rihanna Fenty to Ronald and mom Monica in 1988. Her parents divorced in 2002 when she was 14, just 2 years before she moved from their hometown of Bridgetown, Barbados, to the United States. The Fenty Beauty founder said her family, quote, broke up because of her dad's struggles with addiction, and it took a while for her and her father to reconcile. Telling Oprah in a 2012 interview,
I was so angry at him. And I was just angry about a lot of things from my childhood, and I couldn't separate him as a husband from him as a father. I felt like he was a bad husband, he was a bad father. The minute I was able to realize, like, my father was probably one of the best fathers in the world. Like, he taught me everything. And as awful as he was to my mom, at times, it didn't compare to how great he was as a father. And I had to come to terms with that. And I was able to close that gap with him.
And years later, the two became involved in a legal dispute, with Rihanna suing her father in 2019 for false advertising, false designation of origin, and invasion of privacy, false light publicity. In the lawsuit obtained by E! News, she alleged that Ronald and his business partner, quote, egregiously and fraudulently misrepresented to third parties and the public that their company, Fenty Entertainment, was affiliated with her and had the authority to act on her behalf. In 2021, Rihanna filed to dismiss the lawsuit per the BBC.
See how she did the right thing and you know, removed herself. You see how she did the right thing and made peace with that man? That was awesome right there.
I'm pretty sure that it was effort on his part too, right? Because when she did, I remember when she did that interview with Oprah, and I remember, listen, she still sounded like, people don't realize it doesn't matter that you are a grown adult. You could be 30, 40, 50, 60, but whatever childhood trauma you still have, you're going to result back to that. When she was crying, she was that little girl that was remembering her dad for being the great dad he was, but the horrible husband that he was, right? To her mother. So that hurt. You know what I mean? That hurt for her. That was that little girl that was crying, because that's where that trauma and stopped her growth right at whatever age she was that little girl crying out those tears. I mean, I have done it. And I'm sure you have done it. Anybody else that has had an issue, the only difference between us and Rihanna is hers be made public because she's a public figure. Ours are not, because we are not public figures, right? But we still go through strives and things like that in our family. I saw my father a month before he passed away. A month before my dad was murdered, I saw him. And I loved him. I told my dad I was glad he had finally stopped drinking, because he had a problem with alcohol too. And he had been the cleanest, the longest I ever seen him. He was back in church singing, because that's where I get my singing from. And I told him, I was so glad that I told him those things, because the next month he was gone. He was unalive. He was dead. So if you get the opportunity with your parent or your child, if it's something that can be forgivable, because listen, I'm also the kind that I won't mess with you now. If you did something to me that's unforgivable, it's a wrap for me, right? But if it is something that you can get over and get past, because obviously Rihanna did that with her dad, because she ended up dropping the lawsuit and they end up probably settling, doing some settlement out of court or whatever the situation was, right? They worked it out. And that is the thing that, God is looking at Brian McKnight, because he didn't do that. He did. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely.
Utter selfishness. That's selfish.
Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Brother Fenty. Rest in peace, Niko, and prayers and condolences to all your family, your friends, your fans, and everything. Because so apparently from what that newsreel is saying, he actually died yesterday. On another newsreel, I saw that he actually died today. So I'm confused. But maybe where it goes. Yeah, he's no longer with us.
They had the times mixed up. Like Angie, first they said she passed on her son's birthday. Then it was March the 1st because of the time of the morning it was, I guess. It's a lot. We lose so many of our people.
We have lost three people that, in the industry that has touched our lives in some kind of way. I know you personally knew Angie, worked with Angie, wrote with Angie. Stone and all of that. So I know that her untimely demise was hit differently, and I can only imagine, you know, what, you know, how you took hers. And I mean, if you want to share that, you know, please do.
I'm still going through it, crying like when I found all of our music and our lyrics, and you know, when I saw the year 1990, I think it was 8, and it said, it still make me cry, OJ. It said that you know, that I did the No More Rain in This Cloud, No More Rain in This Cloud background vocals with her. I could still see when she was laying on the couch and I was laying down my vocals, that we did them in Quad Studios. And then when it released, and I could hear I could hear me on the single in the background vocals, and it still didn't hit me because it's like, oh, it's Angie. Angie album dropped, and it didn't even faze me. Like, unlike the people that she had around her that didn't really love her, like the people that really loved her, and just to see the paperwork and to see that, you know, we never even discussed money. And for 30 years, I never even asked Angie for a dime, and nobody even know that I did those vocals with her. And I'm honored that Angie asked me to get on the song. It was just so natural how we worked, as well as how Juanita worked with Angie. You know, the people that really knew Angie, loved Angie.
Yeah, I know it
that way. And then to try to reach her, I was trying to get to her. And then for her to pass away and me trying to get to her, that's a void that I have to live with for the rest of my life. She was a good woman. She was a loving, she was a real sister, you know. And if I ever met Diamond, regardless of how they treated her, all I would do is just hug her real tight to let her know that, you know, in the midst of the storm or what you're going through with these brothers out here in these YouTube streets, is people that really got your back and really care about you and care about your mom, knowing that journey. And people don't know that Diamond did 4 songs on Angie's album, that her daughter is talented. You know, they focusing on the drama. They're not focusing on, you know, the legacy of Angie and moving forward. You know, what are y'all going to do in 2026? What y'all going to be talking about in these YouTube streets in 2026 when a whole year passed and Angie coming upon a year being gone? Are y'all going to be, you know, sitting there arguing with a daughter, bringing everything to YouTube? You don't got to bring everything to YouTube. You know, she's still more. She probably ain't even had the time to mourn the loss of her mother because of the lies that's being said about her, you know, in her mom's relationship. And then I'm sitting here watching videos that Juanita dropped of them giving Angie a surprise birthday party and her daughter there, and they showing love for each other, her and her daughter. You know what I'm saying? So people don't even really know. You know, when people dwell on the negative, they don't even dwell on the positive.
Let me ask you this. Did Angie and Diamond make peace with each other before Angie passed? Were they on good terms?
You know, according to Diamond made the statement that they were. You know, they had made peace. Yeah. Okay. You know, they made peace.
Okay, but I hope so. And if so, that's good. Because I know I used to always see her in the car on Instagram with Michael. You know, I know that, you know, I
don't think Diamond was around more than Michael was. I don't believe Diamond was around because Diamond didn't live in the house at the time. You know, but that don't mean anything. You know, I haven't seen my mom in years. I haven't seen my mother in a long time, but when I talk to her, she always tell me she love me. I tell her I love her. So everybody relationship ain't that close with their parents, but that don't mean they don't love their parents. You know, that don't mean that they don't have a bond with their parents. Everybody love differently. Love is something that has to be taught, especially in our community, because of the dysfunctionalities and the spiritual diseases that run rampant in our communities, all that we've overcome.
we internalize trauma differently, right? I think we've become kind of immune to trauma.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome. That's what they be calling it. PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome. You know, if you came from it, everybody don't come from slavery, but for those that come from it, you still a victim of it because of your friends and your cousins and your neighbors was going through something. Remember, we was always eating at our neighbor's house, our friends' parents' houses, and our cousins. You know what I'm saying? People that wasn't into, you know, immediate family, we would be with them too. So they would be like our family. You know what I'm saying? So we was going on in our crib. It was going on in somebody else's crib that we was around all damn time. So
do you have
baby?
I would love to see pictures with you and Angie. Do you have pictures?
No, that's what I'm telling you. No pictures. It was
you have any pictures with her?
I don't even have pictures with Mary J. Blige, girl. I don't got pictures with nobody in the music industry.
What?
Because I didn't. It was so natural that I was just flowing, girl. I had pictures with Denzel Washington, and I had pictures with my children, and when we did American Gangster.
Yeah.
Frank Lucas, the guys that the guys that was from back in the day. They was at the party scene that we did when we did the club scene with Anthony Hamilton. Frank Lucas, and they was there. I think he was in a wheelchair.
The same one, my ex, the same one that worked with Angie Stone when they were both at Paisley Park, also worked with Anthony Hamilton way before he is the Anthony Hamilton he is now, you know, down in North Carolina, because that's where he's from, Charlotte, North Carolina. Matter of fact, that's where he moved back to, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to get back with him because he wanted me to work with his wife. And in the party scene that Anthony Hamilton was in, we spent time together talking, and all my friends was like, Anthony Hamilton looking for you. So we was building. I had his number and everything. But since when I said I walked away from the industry, I walked away from the industry. Your ass about to bring me back into the game.
I feel you. Damn. That's right. You got to work on this Southern Soul blues stuff.
Yes.
Yes. So what else is going on, sis? Enough for
let's go. Okay, so let me play this. So we got Demoree Hadley. This is what's this lady named Desiree from
Desiree Perez.
Girl, Rock Nation. There we go. Rock Nation CEO Desiree Perez. She sued. Her daughter sued her. So let's get into deep. I was like, what you say? Come on now. Not your daughter, Desiree. No, not the Desiree that they be talking about. I thought Rock Nation was clean. So then I'm hearing, okay, so they not clean. They kind of dirty. And they kind of got Tory Lanez. And they got her daughter too. So now they're saying this is who's behind setting her daughter up. So I got the case right here of her daughter suing her, 64 pages. So I'm gonna summarize it because it's a lot, y'all. So this is the civil lawsuit filed by Demoree Hadley in the Southern District of Florida against her own mama, Desiree Perez. She is the CEO of Rock Nation, and multiple other defendants, including private investigators, medical professionals, law enforcement, and business entities. So this is a 64-page document, but y'all need to see that this is real, and it was filed a couple of weeks ago. May the 9th, it was filed. So this is a real case, y'all. Look at the picture. This is her daughter. Oh my goodness, sis, look. Her daughter.
So what is she doing and accusing her mother of? Kind of break it down, kind of.
So Demoree, she alleged that a conspiracy and abuse of power by her biological mother, Desiree Perez, an attempt to destroy her relationship with her husband, Javon Hadley, and gain control over her life through fraudulent arrests. So her husband was arrested 3 times. False mental health detentions under the Florida Baker Act and Marshman Act. So she had her daughter put in a mental institution to keep her away from her husband. But why are you in her husband's business? If she's happy, what's the problem? If your daughter's happy, what is the problem? Why you can't be happy for your daughter? Look at the picture. Girl, let me go into this. Invasion of privacy, including illegal wiretaps, hacking and tracking. You see that window right there? The wiretaps, they showing you the wiretap in the case. You see it? Do y'all see that?
That's crazy. I see it.
That's crazy. Look, this is the evidence her daughter is giving to the lawsuit, to the attorneys. And we're going to play the video in a minute of the attorney talking about the case. But I just want y'all to see the text. Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. Wow. All the evidence.
It seemed to be like the textbook kind of scenario and narrative, because I remember the rapper MIA that was signed to Rock Nation kind of said the same thing and accused Jay-Z of the same thing.
Wow.
I think they got an agenda at how they try to handle people. It's like pretend, like make them out to look like they're mentally incompetent and take their children or their loved one, and so that's very familiar to what MIA kind of accused Jay-Z and Rock Nation of doing to her.
Taking her baby. Okay, she lost her child. That was crazy. And then she was really talented back in them days. I saw her live, and that's sad, bro. Okay, so key claims, RICO. So this is a RICO case, you know this, right? This is RICO. RICO violations, racketeering. Desiree used her influence tech team and private investigators to execute a pattern of criminal conduct, including bribery, wire fraud, hacking, and witness tampering. Fourth Amendment violation, unlawful detainment of Demoree under the Baker Act without proper evaluation. Collaboration between private parties and law enforcement was alleged to constitute state action. False imprisonment. Multiple parties, including Desiree, SIG 9 LLC investigators, and Broward County deputies, unlawfully detained Demoree, which is her husband, her daughter's husband. Civil conspiracy. Multiple coordinated actions to detain Demoree and defame or arrest Javon unjustly. Involvement of Rock Nation staff and Demoree's employer, Iconic Creative LLC, and fake interventions in cohorts' mental health evaluations. Wow. Negligence and abuse of Marshman Act. Dr. Daniel Barber and affiliated healthcare facilities unlawfully admitted Demoree for drug treatment despite negative tests and no history of substance abuse. What? Shocking allegations. Desiree planted cameras and listening devices in her daughter's bedroom, cloned her daughter's iPhone, and accessed private data, falsified therapy sessions using unlicensed professionals or fake identities, bribed or influenced law enforcement and medical staff to have Demoree committed, filed frivolous lawsuits to take control over property, a car, and harassed the couple. So her daughter is seeking compensatory and punitive damages, treble damages under RICO, or treble damages under RICO, legal fees and costs, injunctive relief to stop continued harassment. Why would her mother put all that energy into doing this to her daughter? She got to be just a wicked, wicked woman, sis. What?
This is the same Desiree that became a government feds informant, right? That ended up obviously snitching on some people for her, and then she ended up getting pardoned, I think, by Trump. She ended up getting pardoned. And I think, Jay-Z was behind that. Then Jay-Z made her the CEO of Rock Nation and best buddy.
Girl, what you say? Well, let's get into the let's see what this video talking about, because this might be a little juicy story right here. This is, girl, all this stuff in the music business is crazy. Crazy. What? Wow. Girl, this is a lot. Ooh. So much going on. Every day it's a story. It's every day. We got to go and find out what's going on with Smokey Robinson. Smokey.
Yeah, well, he's countersuing his victims that's accusing him for $500 million. Okay.
Lord have mercy. Oh my God.
Tory Lanez has been innocent all along, and that what happened to Tory Lanez isn't this new concept. It's something that Rock Nation has partaked in before.
Two people have came forward to reveal that Roc Nation did them exactly how they did Tory Lanez. But not just with their words, they even got the local police confirming that they were deceived by Desiree Perez to bring on false charges. Tory Lanez from the very beginning has always been really vocal that he was being framed, that he was completely innocent, and that these charges and what was happening to him was coming directly from Desiree Perez, Roc Nation, and Megan Thee Stallion's handlers. And they were committed to making Megan Thee Stallion look like a victim and him like a perpetrator. And this was being done for career advancements or for other reasons. Because the storyline of Megan Thee Stallion being shot by her manic boyfriend is a much better story for Megan Thee Stallion's image than the alternative, which is Megan Thee Stallion and her friend got into a huge fight. She ripped her friend's chain off. They really got into it because the friend found out that Megan Thee Stallion was sleeping with a man that she was involved with first. And when they found out, they got into a fight. The friend got super upset because she was being beaten up by a woman in Megan Thee Stallion who was about 6 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier. So the friend pulled out a gun, began to shoot at Megan Thee Stallion. The friend missed. No bullets ever hit Megan Thee Stallion. They all got back into the vehicle. And when they got pulled over because the neighbors called the police, Megan Thee Stallion stepped on glass and tore open her leg or her foot. And that was the quote unquote injury that was seen. So that story is still like she's still the victim, but it's not as juicy. So Desiree Perez and Roc Nation concocted this entire story allegedly. We've seen them do it before on a smaller scale. Rihanna was the victim. Chris Brown did put his hands on her, but Roc Nation did a very good job at making a story surrounding that a whole lot different than what really happened. The real story was Rihanna and Chris Brown was driving. Rihanna began to hit Chris Brown. Chris Brown reacted in a fit of rage, which no man should ever do, but that's the story. But Roc Nation made sure the media was carrying this story of Rihanna confronted Chris Brown for cheating. She was distraught. And because Chris Brown was caught cheating, he put his hands on Rihanna. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Rihanna put her hands on Chris Brown first. But we've already seen on a smaller scale what Roc Nation is capable of in terms of shipping the media narrative and making sure that whoever their act is, whoever the artist they're signed to, and whatever scandal they're a part of, that artist is going to leave that scandal with a preferable storyline to enhance their image. And it worked. Megan Thee Stallion went on to win Grammys, went on to win every award possible. Listen, I knew something was going on, bro. When Megan Thee Stallion won like a songwriter award, I said, come on, bro. Like, what exactly is Megan Thee Stallion winning a songwriter award for, bro? Like, what type of profound songwriting has Megan Thee Stallion participated in? But this is what Roc Nation does, and this was the plan, allegedly, because Roc Nation loves to come after smaller YouTubers. We've seen it. But Tory Lanez and his conspiracy would feel like it's this grand story. It would feel like this is some type of thing that Tory Lanez just made up if he wasn't being backed up by Desiree Perez's own daughter, who's alleging that Desiree Perez, with the help of Roc Nation, has done something very similar to her and her husband that they did to Tory Lanez.
A South Florida woman is taking legal action after she says she spent nearly 2 weeks in mental health institutions for no legitimate reason.
She claims in a recently filed lawsuit that it was all orchestrated by her own mother and others who should have protected her failed her.
NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Viteri has her story.
So legally, I can go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker active.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demoree Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, so dog's not going to be able to come?
I don't want to be in handcuffs.
Okay.
Demoree says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk to herself.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before.
Even how they got her institutionalized is super janky and super sketchy. Imagine being called to a particular parking lot for a business inquiry for a business that you run with your husband. And then when you get there, it's a bunch of random people trying to kidnap you and put you in their car and take you to an institution. And you're like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? I don't know you guys. And then they tell you that you have to go with them and you can't go home because this doctor whom you never met before is telling them and law enforcement that you are a risk to yourself and they have to institutionalize you. This is usually how this works. It's a network of cohorts they use to torment your life. And we've seen it with Tory Lanez. Roc Nation has used a network of people to allegedly torment Tory Lanez life. In this situation, her mother, Desiree Perez, the CEO and president of Roc Nation, is using similar tactics to what they use with Tory Lanez to get her institutionalized, to ruin her life. It's a network of cohorts. They've managed to get the lead doctor at a mental health institution to say that she's a danger to herself without never seeing her ever in life.
Welcome back. It's called the Baker Act. Under state law, people can be forced into a facility for a mental health evaluation if, among other reasons, they are a danger to themselves or others.
But in a new lawsuit, a South Florida woman says that she was held in mental institutions for nearly 2 weeks for no legitimate reason. And she shared body camera video that she says proves her case and raises questions about how this law meant to protect people can be implemented. NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Bateri takes a closer look.
Prevent me from making it wrong.
The incident started on March 27th of last year.
So legally, I can't go home.
No.
Why?
Body camera video shows Broward Sheriff's deputies met on the side of the road in Dania Beach.
Hello. How's it going? How's it going?
By this man.
I'm waiting for a car to go by. There's a girl driving it. She's like a kind of mentally unstable person.
BSO has not responded to inquiries about who called the deputies there, but it appears they're taking direction from the man in the gray t-shirt.
She's heading over here right now. Pinging her or? Yes, they have a GPS on her.
He asks deputies to follow him to a nearby parking lot once she arrives.
I have a doctor, Dr. Boba from Hollywood Memorial Hospital, who's over there right now waiting for her to show up, and he's going to fake her out.
And when I showed up, it obviously was not an estimate.
Demoree Hadley says she was lured to that parking lot by someone posing as a potential client for the landscaping company she runs with her then boyfriend, now husband.
The Baker Act, officially known as the Florida Mental Health Act, is a Florida law that provides for the involuntary examination and treatment of individuals with mental illness who are a danger to themselves or others. Is named after Maxine Eldridge Baker. But that's the problem here. According to Demoree, she don't have a history of mental illness. That this entire story of her being mentally ill and her being a harm to herself was completely made up by her mom, using the same tactic that she used against Tory Lanez to essentially get Demoree institutionalized. And according to Demoree, this is all over her not wanting to leave her husband. That her mom, Desiree Perez, the CEO and president of Roc Nation, don't like who she's married to, don't like the person that she chose to love. And because of that, she has told her, hey, bro, you got to leave him. And if you don't leave him, I'm going to have you institutionalized. And she made well on that promise, according to Demoree. But the rabbit hole goes much deeper. Desiree Perez allegedly used her network of cohorts to get the husband arrested on multiple occasions for things that he did not do. She would get him arrested for domestic violence or for putting his hands on Demoree, when Demoree will say, that's just not true. He never put his hands on me. He has never done anything to me. My mom, who has a vast network, who has a long reach, who has a lot of power, was able to get my husband locked up for things he didn't do because she don't want to see us together. The lawsuit names Roc Nation, Desiree Perez, and a bunch of other entities as defendants because she's very clear here. She believes that Desiree Perez didn't act alone, that Desiree Perez used her immense control, network, and reach that she has because of Roc Nation to torment the life of her and her husband. You're about to understand why Roc Nation and Desiree Perez is undefeated in the industry when it comes to beefs. You're about to understand how powerful their reach is and why anyone who ever went against them fell, and why they are the industry biggest bullies, why they've been running amok in the industry uncontested, because nobody really want that smoke. The only person who ever acted like they want that smoke was Kanye West. And we've seen what happened with Kanye West. July 18th, 2022, they discovered that Desiree Perez allegedly conspired to plant a camera and listening device in Demoree and Javon Hadley's bedroom without their consent, illegally recording their private communications. Now, how was she able to get a camera and a recording device in their private bedroom? One can only assume. Again, it's a vast network. that has really helped him to torment these people's lives. The goal of this was to record Javon doing anything that could be interpreted as physical or verbal abuse and try to use that to split them up or try to use the court to get Javon arrested. March 1st of 2024, they discovered the hacking of an iCloud account. Desiree Perez or Roc Nation tech staff allegedly hacked Demoree's iCloud account, accessing private data such as text messages, photographs, and videos. Evidence shows an unauthorized iPhone 2 device pinging from Roc Nation headquarters in New York. She only has one iPhone. So when she seen that there was an iPhone 2 attached to her iCloud account, she was confused. So she would write, the problem is Demoree only had one iPhone device attached to her iCloud account, the one she literally had in her hand. So not surprising that when she seen there was an iPhone 2 that had access to her iCloud that had a location at the Roc Nation headquarters, she thought, what's going on here? I was hacked. Diddy is currently on trial for a RICO, running a criminal organization that helped them torment and commit other crimes. This is the definition of a RICO conspiracy. This is the definition of somebody using her resources to commit crimes, using a network of criminals, a network of people and professionals with specific skills to help her commit crimes. Hacking somebody's iCloud to try to get messages or anything to where you could use it against her husband to get her husband locked up and her husband out of here because you don't want her and the husband to be together. Yo, if this woman is this obsessive and allegedly this evil when it comes to her actual daughter and her son-in-law, imagine how much worse she gets when it comes to somebody who she has no form of love for at all. September 14th, 2023, according to Demoree, Desiree Perez lured her to her Pinecrest, Florida home under false pretenses for an intervention with an unlicensed counselor, Victoria Hunter. Desiree confiscated Demoree's dog, prevented her from leaving, and threatened the Baker actor. As we've seen, she made good on that promise if she stayed with Javon, using a racial slur. Now, according to Demoree, Desiree called Javon the hard ER. Now, the Pinecrest police apparently came. They intervened for like a false imprisonment, but they didn't arrest Desiree or charge Desiree due to her influence, according to Demoree. Now, September 14, 2023, the same day, Desiree confronted Javon at Demoree's grandfather's home, claiming she knew everything about their activities and threatening his life if he stayed with Demoree. So, do you understand here now, man, when people say Tory Lanez was framed, that this is not some type of outlandish accusation. This is a very possible thing. These people are the epitome of evil. All right, October 1st, 2023, stalking and harassment by private investigators. After the Hadleys moved to Homestead, Florida, Desiree Perez, again, this is to me the scariest part. And it really shows the power, the influence, and the wealth. After they moved to get away from Desiree rented a house across the street, installed cameras, and hired a CTS Research Inc. investigator to follow them 24/7, often at unsafe distances causing fear. One unlicensed investigator displayed a gun while following Javon.
In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demoree falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of Roc Nation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demoree and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to separate me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez has repeatedly denied these allegations in court filings. A month before Demoree filed her complaint, we found her mother filed her own lawsuit against Demoree's husband, Javon. Citing evidence, Perez says he has abused her daughter for years, something the couple has denied in court records. In that lawsuit, Desiree Perez says she moved to Baker Act her daughter, fearing she was at risk of and abusing prescription drugs.
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law that it is so clear that someone did something wrong.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demoree in the lawsuit, which claims Perez harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple occasions for battery and domestic violence.
Y'all ain't hear nothing yet, bro. Y'all about to fully understand why I affectionately call her the Griselda Blanco of the music industry. This woman is Teflon Don, bro. Yo, she's Debo. She shut it down, bruh. It don't get more Debo than her. Tory Lanez ain't standing a chance, yo. October of 2023, Desiree Perez allegedly resolved financial issues for Demoree's employer. Now, the daughter works somewhere. That company was having financial issues. Desiree Perez, having infinite amount of money, gave them a loan. Said, hey, I'll bill you guys out. But in exchange, according to Demoree, she asked for control over Demoree. Now, when Desiree Perez bailed out the company, Iconic increased Demoree's salary from $65,000 to $125,000. And that would appear to be a good thing. However, they imposed excessive work demands to separate her from Javon. December 12th to 13th of 2023, Iconic creative owner Liz and Benny Fragilla required Demoree to attend a Zoom training with the Nike Academy, which was a cover for a psychological evaluation by Rachel Bernstein, posing as Rachel Thomas. Bernstein is a California therapist specializing in cults, was not affiliated with Nike. A fake Nike Academy profile was created and later deleted. If she didn't have mental health issues before, she would have mental health issues now, bruh. I don't understand anybody who could bear that who's not strong mentally. To me, this is all the proof I need that she don't have mental health issues. To endure this and still be strong and standing up, you're somebody special, bro. Imagine your crazy mama who's been stalking you all across the U.S., bro. You buy a home somewhere out of town, she rents a home across the street, hires 24/7 private investigators to follow you guys everywhere, bro. Bug your home with cameras and audio devices. You don't know how she did it. And your entire life is under 24/7 surveillance. You don't have nothing called privacy in your life. You thinking the only piece you have, and it sounds weird, is your job, is your employer. And then all of a sudden, this crazy mama is able to build them out financially. So now she has control over you. So now your employer begin to work for her, begin to be one of her co-conspirators. And now they are engaging in practices to help her essentially institutionalize you by doing things like bringing a therapist under the guise of a work meeting, and that therapist then have a conversation with you, and she jot down a couple of notes and then use that to institutionalize you. This is insane, yo. When playing nice and increasing the salary ain't work, then they started playing dirty. So according to Demoree, all right, early January of 2024, Iconic Creative fired her without explanation, despite recent positive reviews allegedly at Desiree's behest. Iconic withheld payment for December of 2023 work, requiring Demoree to sign a gag order to receive it, which she refused. I feel like this is killing two birds with one stone. The first thing this really gets rid of is, hey, yo, if you want your payment, sign a gag order that you will not talk about anything that goes on, including the fake Nike profile and the therapist disguising herself as a Nike employee so we could institutionalize you. Sign that. Well, no, I'm not signing. Okay, yeah, you're fired. All right. And then also, too, her being fired now makes her relying on Desiree Perez to pay her bills. So now she's financially now has to rely on Desiree Perez. And I feel like that was the goal, right? I can control you if you are dependent on me to eat and feed your family. If you've been following this Tory Lanez case, you're about to get some real deja vu, because what Desiree Perez allegedly did to Demoree's husband, Javon, is eerily similar to what Tory Lanez is accusing them of doing to him. Between December 26th and 30th of 2023, Desiree falsely reported to Miami-Dade police that Javon battered Demoree, her daughter, on January 16, 2022. On December 30th, she made a false 911 call claiming Javon kidnapped Demoree at Pinto Farms, leading to his arrest in front of his nephews. Making a call to the police that this man kidnapped his own wife is crazy. The state attorney's office noted, that this kind of looks a little janky. A kidnapping claim on his own wife looks a little janky. but they still charge Javon because Desiree Perez, again, her influence, right? Yo, they initially pursued this dude, arrested him, and charged him because they felt like they had to, according to Demoree, due to Desiree's influence. Now, here's where it gets spooky. Here's where it gets really nasty, okay? January 8th of 2024, Desiree hired an attorney, Brett Shorts, who went to Javon's court date and falsely claimed to represent Demoree in Javon's misdemeanor battery case without her knowledge or consent. Shorts pushed for unfounded trafficking charges against Javon. So not only was it enough to make the call to get him arrested, but you hire a lawyer to go to court to speak on the wife's behalf because bro, listen, it's easy to get off if the wife is claiming this never happened. But if the wife got an attorney coming to court and telling the judge, hey, judge, yo, he did it. He's a menace to society. She's fearing for his life. Lock him up. You're going to get railroaded. Roc Nation and Jay-Z is already being sued, allegedly, by a Pennsylvania attorney for having an illegal influence on prosecutors. Demoree is about to lay out the influence that Desiree Perez attempted to have over prosecutors in Javon's case. February 1st of 2024, Desiree Perez emailed prosecutors using her Roc Nation email requesting they extend Javon's case to keep him on edge, which they accommodated, allowing her to continue her actions. Tell me someone you think have that much pull to where they can tell the prosecutors, hey, listen, man, I know you guys are probably going to dismiss the charges, but just extend it a little longer, man, just to keep him on edge. And they did it. March 26th of 2024, attempted manipulation of a therapist. Desiree directed Roc Nation employee Natalie Anderson to present a fabricated audio of a woman screaming, "Don't grate me," to Demoree's therapist, Dr. Luz Barrio, falsely claiming it was Javon assaulting Demoree. Dr. Barrio, familiar with Demoree, refused to support a Baker Act. This is textbook racketeering. This is textbook criminal organization. But Desiree Perez has already cooperated with the feds to take down the cartel. She wore a wire on the cartel. She's a federal informant. She can run amok because she got the feds in her back pocket too. This is what Tory Lanez was going against, yo. That man never stood a chance ever in life. But the thing about this is not even a situation where, the daughter could be lying. How? How could the daughter be lying? From my opinion, allegedly, I would think this is true, allegedly. Because think about it for a second, yo. She's listing dates. She's listing names of other people involved. This story could be easily debunked. Contact the therapist, Dr. Luz Barrio, and ask him, did this happen? So this is a situation where there's probably a 95% chance that these things occurred, and that this woman is out here squeezing the police, squeezing professionals, squeezing tech people, squeezing a lot of powerful people and companies, and she's doing all of this to make her daughter's life hell. Now imagine what she would do to someone that she don't like. Now do you think it's still outrageous, the possibility that this woman could very well utilize Goss Khan, the DA, to bring charges against Tory Lanez and set him up and frame him? I don't think so. And anyone who was calling those accusations outlandish, you're out of your mind. March 29th, 2024, Fraudulent Marchman Act petition. Desiree filed a fraudulent ex parte Marchman Act petition, falsely claiming Demoree sought drugs from Liz Fragala and this name Garcia. Both later testified Demoree did not use drugs or alcohol, contradicting Desiree claims. I want to applaud the husband in this situation, because if this was me, if I'm getting arrested multiple times because of your crazy mother, bro, I'm probably walking away from this situation and saying it's not worth it, bro. But the husband stayed, and you're about to witness how many times and how crazy the collusion and the conspiracy was against this poor man. How many times his life was affected, how many times he got arrested, how many times his freedom got taken away for doing absolutely nothing. And the local police admitted to such. They even wrote a letter, according to Demoree, like pretty much chastising Desiree Perez for using her influence to get this man falsely charged. April 5th, 2024, Javon was arrested again. So Desiree, with attorneys Laura Gotts and Jessica Casso, pressured Miami-Dade police to arrest Javon for an alleged September 11th, 2023 battery, despite prior findings of no probable cause. The arrest relied on recycled evidence and was facilitated by Desiree's influence. How do you arrest somebody using the same evidence in the past you found no probable cause? But because somebody contacted you and say you arrested him? April 8th, 2024.
Yeah.
Third fraudulent arrest of Javon. Desiree's private investigators reported Javon for violating a stay-away order when he entered his home to feed a cat, leading to his arrest. Officer admitted they acted on higher-up orders, and the state noted the arrest was based on questionable surveillance. Teflon Don.
I know.
Even the police don't know why they're arresting this dude, but they got to arrest this
I'm sorry,
dude.
what you said?
Our supervisors told us to arrest him. But when he said higher up, it's coming from the supervisor, boss. Even the DA said,
"Oh yeah,
higher up."
He done.
I don't know why.
To be done talking about it.
Yo, that's that level of power you cannot compete with.
Okay, all right.
I'm terrified at that level of power. That level of power have no business being in hip hop. To be honest with you, bro, it has no business being in hip hop, bro. Because this is a woman who's essentially playing the role as a slave catcher. She's literally running up amok, ruining people's lives for the sake of it. And this is someone who's attached to Jay-Z, who was empowered by Jay-Z. But at this point, I'll be real, bro. I don't know who empowered who. I can't tell you if Jay-Z empowered her or if she empowered Jay-Z. Because for some reason, this woman went from being a federal informant to her and Jay-Z going into business just out the blue. And she has risen to power. She's now like the most powerful executive, probably second to Lucian. I remember specifically when Jay-Z was going through the whole lawsuit saga with Tony Busby. They got this YouTube channel here demonetized for speaking on Jay-Z. We've never seen this before. We've never seen a YouTube channel get completely demonetized. Not just the videos, no, completely demonetized out of here for allowing Jaguar Wright to speak on Jay-Z. And that's allegedly, right? Because that's what the YouTube channel said. April 26, 2024, attorney Lauren Gotts, hired by Desiree Perez, appeared at the state attorney's office during Demoree's sworn statement, falsely claiming to represent her and the witness to intimidate her. April 22nd, 2024, Desiree filed a lawsuit against Demoree, falsely claiming the ownership of a car titled in Demoree's name, alleging a mutual agreement that Demoree violated. Once the criminal charges didn't work and they were able to overcome it, she began to pursue them allegedly civilly. She began to pursue Javon. She sued her own daughter, allegedly. Now, the Javon lawsuit you guys heard a little bit about earlier in this video. We will cover the full Javon lawsuit probably in another video. If you guys want it, comment below. We'll do a full deep dive into her lawsuit against Javon.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
Demoree's lawsuit alleges her mother conspired with prominent psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober, seen here in body camera video, and others to have Demoree committed for a mental health evaluation. Bober cites supporting evidence from her family and diagnosed Demoree with an unspecified psychosis. He ordered she be taken to Memorial Regional Hospital, where he is chief of psychiatry, and where results from drug tests taken upon admission were negative, according to records Demoree shared with us.
They told me your tox screens came out negative, and I go, I know. I don't do drugs.
In a statement, Dr. Bober's attorney said Demoree was placed under the Baker Act for 38 hours due to the potential risk of imminent harm she posed to herself, adding failing to take appropriate action would have been a breach of Dr. Bober's ethical and professional obligations. While Demoree was at Memorial, her mother further petitioned to have her transported to a different facility under Florida's Marchman Act, claiming again in court records that Demoree suffered from severe drug abuse. A judge granted that petition.
They ran the test. They knew that she had no drugs in her system and she was not abusing drugs. And the fact that you can't do anything about it is scary.
Demoree was sent to this treatment center in Deerfield Beach, where Dr. Bober serves as medical director.
Where are the people that are supposed to protect me from this happening?
According to her lawsuit, Demoree requested a hair follicle test at that facility called Life Skills, which detects drug use for at least the past 3 months, and which showed no drugs had been in Demoree. Demoree was held at Life Skills until April 8th. She shared discharge paperwork that lists a diagnosis of persistent depressive disorder, which she disputes. No medication was prescribed. Court records show Demoree was able to leave that day after her mother voluntarily dismissed the case. But Demoree says the damage has been done, and she feels a system designed to keep people safe failed to protect her.
Money, influence, and power should not be something that's used, right, or abused to hurt innocent people.
There's about 20 counts against the various defendants. So for the federal claims, there's a RICO for Desiree. Fourth Amendment violations, Desiree, Bober, Fondo, Caddy, the Sheriff's Office. Stored Communication Acts, Desiree and Rock Nation. Federal wiretap, Desiree. The state claims. The civil conspiracy, the false imprisonment, the negligence, the Marshman Act violation. Florida Security of Communication Acts violation. The intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraudulent misrepresentation, damages sought, economic and non-economic damages. So I'm assuming she probably wants a confession. She wants some money. Punitive damages, treble damages, which is a part of the RICO. Statutory damages, attorney fees, and a litigation cost. The daughter is absolutely right. Just because you have money, power, and influence don't mean you should torment people's lives, yo. And that's what's been going on for a while, as it would appear, allegedly. I don't know. This is sick. It's very sick. And they got to be really careful here, bro. The last person who felt invincible, who had a network of people doing harm on his behalf, was Diddy. And we know all it took was one lawsuit to reveal a lot of these things. And you know what happened? Diddy ultimately got a federal RICO, a real RICO. They got to be careful here, man. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? Do you guys believe this? Do y'all believe that Rock Nation is operating as a criminal organization to torment people's lives? Let me know. And we'll be doing the Desiree Perez lawsuit against Javon pretty shortly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be too long, but girl, that was deep. I think she might be after her daughter. Remove the baby daddy, OG. Remove the husband. Get him out the way, because they may have some type of ritual they may be trying to do. What you think? That's deep. That's crazy. Uh-oh, I think I lost you, girl. But anyway, I'm sorry, baby. But we'll continue this this story, because this is deep. So tonight we just didn't there you go. Oh, I was saying this deep. What you think? Because I got too many things going through my mind with this situation. This is crazy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. It seemed like every time my phone rings when I try to come back in, because I was steady saying, "Can you hear me?" and you didn't hear me. So, but my phone had ring. No, sis, look, if this case is true, all of those things that she's saying that her mother did to her and her husband, all of that stuff, tampering, planning, recordings and things in her home, buying a house across the street so she can spy. I mean, that is diabolical.
Oh, for real, that she is like,
that is diabolical.
What did her daughter do to her, or what do she want from her daughter to go to?
All because she don't like her husband.
No, it's deeper than that. Nah.
Like it's gotta be. It's got to be something else outside of that. Maybe she don't.
She wants something.
This is the thing. It's a lot of parents don't like who their children are married to. But once they are married, it is not your business or concern to jump in and try to break that marriage up if they are not physically trying to harm each other. There is no doubt of, or no proof of him being abusive towards her, and it doesn't seem like it. And he got arrested multiple times. This to me, this is exactly what narcissistic parents do to their children when they are trying to run their children's lives. And she's trying to use her money, her influence, her resources, her power, and if it is connected in any way to anything that got to do with Roc Nation, she possibly can sue Roc Nation too.
She is suing Roc Nation. Did you see the
I didn't hear that part. I didn't know that she included them in. I heard that they said that they traced the device back to Roc Nation's location. That's crazy. Like that is diabolical. I have like this. That sounds like some stuff somebody will do on a Mission Impossible movie when you trying to spy on someone.
I'm telling you, like the case she's suing Roc Nation, she's suing everybody involved in this with her daughter, with her mother. She know everybody. Look at all the people. Look at the pictures of the people involved in the case. Look, the police, the law. She's suing the law. This is a real.
Yeah, the law that probably got paid off. The doctors, that probably, and if it's proven that she paid these doctors off, they need to lose their license.
This lady got hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is diabolical.
Millions of dollars. So if she got hundreds of millions of dollars, she got the money and the time to do this. But I
know that, right? Like, but this is the thing.
But my thing is,
but this is the thing, sis. Pay attention. If something, hopefully, don't nothing happen to her daughter or her daughter's husband mysteriously.
Okay, look at this. Look at she's suing her mama, Roc Nation, Iconic LLC, Daniel Barber, Natalie Anderson, SIG 9 LLC, James Fundo, Stephen Caddy, Jessica Caddy, South Broward Hospital District for putting her in that mental health against Odyssey Behavioral Health Care, Life Skills South Florida, Outpatient LLC. She's suing Broward County Sheriff Office, John Doe 1, 2, Rachel Bernstein, and CTS Research. She's suing all these people.
Yes, if this is proven to be true, oh my God.
Look at the date, 5/9. They just filed this on the 9th of this month.
I know, sis, if this case is proven to be legit and there is fault on Desiree Perez's side, her daughter is, oh my God, she's about to be a multi-millionaire. Because, oh my God, either way it go, if it's proven, they go whether they sell her out of court or take it all the way to court. If they got the proof that is saying that her daughter has, and it seems like her daughter has the receipts to some stuff, there was drugs never found in her system when they admitted her and giving her all these tests and stuff like that is crazy. She doesn't have a history of mental illness, but now all of a sudden she's mentally ill.
What do they want? My thing is, what do y'all want from this young lady? What are y'all after?
Talk about controlling mothers. Talking about a mommy dearest. Oh my God!
Supposed to be playing the role of being the grandmother to her child. I believe they have a child. So what is this woman wanting from the daughter to remove the man from the picture, the father, putting him in jail 3 times?
Controlling mothers. Listen, controlling mothers are like that. I'm telling you, narcissistic controlling mothers are like that about their children when they are literally trying to run their lives. And if they buck and don't run and don't let them be in their business and run their lives the way they want to, they try all of these different tactics, all these different toxicity tactics to try to break them up, to literally have that man arrested multiple times. Listen, I'm telling you, this is something diabolical. I have never.
Because I know women out of jealousy for a man they love. They're in love with the man. They got a stronghold. They can't break the bond to the man. So they want to tap the man and find out if he cheated. But to do this to your daughter? Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, the stuff that guy read off and got to be in this lawsuit. Like, yeah, they probably gonna sell him out of court quietly, because I'm telling you, if any of that is true, because if she say her mother bugged her bedroom, that she had to have found the bug. If she found out that her mother rented a house across the street to spy, like, and had all these people get involved, like, that is a lot. All those names and businesses on that lawsuit. Oh yeah. That's crazy. That is one of the most diabolical things a parent could do to their child. I don't know what in the world her daughter could have done to her to make her do this to her daughter. I don't understand it. All because she don't like who she married, who she chose to be with and marry. Sometimes you just got to step back as a parent and let the chips fall where they may in your child's relationships. It's either going to work or it's not. But to put your hand in it as a parent and your 2 cents and try to control their relationship or marriage, big mistake. Big mistake. Now, after all of this, her daughter may never speak to her again in life. She may have really just lost her daughter.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy, sis. Listen, you have to be a very diabolical, like, person to do something like this to your own child. Like, seriously. You have, I can't even imagine or think what her daughter could have done to her so bad that would have made her to go to these lengths. I can't even fathom it. So you did all this because you didn't like who she married. I can't, like, I'm telling you, sis, this is the most diabolical shit I ever heard in my life. And if she is that type of person, then DeHaven was right about her. Shout out to DeHaven. And everybody else that's been speaking up on Rock Nation and Desiree, Perez and Jay-Z and all of them and the things that they do to stop MIA. Listen, and possibly even Tory Lanez now. Because they kept saying Rock Nation is behind it. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, we're in the year of truth. We're in the year of truth. So you said all this stuff is coming out. The truth is coming out, baby.
Listen, what Cat Williams said. Cat Williams said all lies will be exposed. Since this is the most diabolical thing I've ever, like, for your parent to have you committed when you are not mentally ill.
Girl. Well, I apologize, sis, but my computer's looking like it's about to shut down in 2 minutes. It's giving me a notice here. The IT about to do something. So, love you, sis, and I'm gonna go on and do that.
Love you too, girl.
We'll talk later from the Marriott.
We'll talk part 2 later on. Shout out to my cousin Etta in the chat from Southtown. Hey, cousin, love you. All right, sis, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go.
All right, sis. Peace.
All right. Love you. Bye-bye.
Sorry about that, but yeah, we have
no worries. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sis. All right. Well, tonight we didn't just talk headlines. We honored legacies, exposed abuse, and stood in truth. So tonight, to Niko McKnight and Ronald Fenty, your spirits live on, not just in the spotlight, but in the hearts of those who knew and loved you. May your memories be cherished and a call for healing in this industry. To those watching, power can be corrupt, but truth still cuts through, whether it's in the courtroom or the boardroom. We must protect the innocent and hold the powerful accountable. Thank you so much, Sister OJ Patrice, for standing in the gap tonight with wisdom, truth, and always love. So this has been Street Talk Daily. I am your host, Sharon Voice. Your voice, remember, matters. You matter as well. Stay strong, stay awake, y'all, and stay true to yourself. So we'll catch y'all on the next one, all right? Peace and love, everybody. Stay safe.